The Handmaid's Tale is one of my favorite books and movies, and when I found out Funko canceled the Funko Pop for June, I decided I had to make my own. Timestamps and files are below. Let's get started. As always, my models are already primed and sanded. I'm just going to go ahead and airbrush over this a basic red. Even though I'm going to get some of the feet and hands, don't worry about that. We'll cover those later. Alright, so I'm going to do a basic Caucasian skin color on her, just to match her character's color. And now I'm going to go back in with some white and just start covering up the areas I want skin in. Just so that way it's an even color and it matches the face. Sorry about the bad camera work, I'm still setting everything back up after my move. And yes, I brought my red, crappy paint booth with me to a new city. Alright, so you want to go ahead and get this white here pretty dense. You want to make sure that none of the red's showing through and there are no streaks. So don't be afraid to put a couple different coats on. And I'm using a 1/4 inch flat brush here, and then a number 6 round brush for all the painting in this, other than my airbrush. By no means do you need to use an airbrush, I just prefer to, it's a little bit quicker. And now I'm just putting brown on the shoes, and this is actually airbrush paint. You can use a normal brush with that, because I couldn't find mine just normal brown paint, and I didn't feel like mixing any. Alright, so I'm putting the same skin tone now we have on the face, on the hands, now that they're dry, and the neck as well. I know normally I do this in pieces, but for something this small, it just didn't make any sense. It was hard enough to print already. Okay, so now we're going on to the eyes, and I'm using that same 1/4 inch flat brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and do this with as much paint as I think is appropriate, which is not helpful to you at all. But, you know, the thing is, if you feel more comfortable doing this with a little bit of paint and doing multiple layers, great. If you feel like you can get it all in one big swoop because you feel a little more skilled, that's great too. This is really how you want to paint this. Well, I'm going to use this flat brush for most of it and then kind of go in later with a little bit of detail with a flat number 6 for stuff like the eyelashes and right around the edges of the eyes. And now I am here with the number 6. This is not actually a new brush. I just have really a bad habit of never taking off those tags and just eventually ruining the brush and throwing it out with them still on there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do a yellow for the blondness of her hair and eyebrows. And I kind of wanted this to be a little bit brighter yellow than it should be, just because it's supposed to, this is kind of a little bit of a cartoony sculpt. And if you want to see more of me actually doing the sculpts, comment below. I didn't know if people really like watching me sculpt this in Blender or not. Alright, so we're getting all those little crevices and cracks with both the flat and the round brush, and it looks like we're almost done here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just paint the white areas white. And here she is finished. This was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to putting this up on my shelf with my other Funko Pops. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I hope you enjoyed printing and painting it as much as I did as well. If this gets enough traction and you guys comment below what character you want, maybe I'll make some more in the series. If you go ahead and make these yourself though, post them up on Thingiverse. I love seeing those things. And if you have any questions about anything, either about this or print related, hit me up down below. I try to respond to everybody. If you could go ahead now and hit that subscribe button, maybe even that little bell for when I go ahead and post new videos, which isn't that often, I'd really appreciate it. And I really want to thank you for watching all the way to the end. Happy printing and good night.